Well, good morning everybody, welcome back to the channel, to the second of this week's reviews. We are in Flight Sim 2020 this time. We're in the United States and this is Albuquerque International Airport in the state of New Mexico, Kilo Alpha Bob Bravo Quebec. This is a new updated version of this product by Dominic Designs, by the Dominic Design team. Now, they've updated it to a newer version, and this is version 1.1 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020. Note that it also works in Flight Sim 2024. The download's only 325 meg and installs at just over a gig, 1.8 gig or 1.08 gig. You can get it from Inibuilds and from Simmarket. Okay, so note that this product was on sale at Inibuilds for a cheaper price. That sale, I believe, has now ended. So what you see in front of you is the current actual price. Not suggesting for one moment that possibly the price might change again. But you can get it from Inibuilds for £16.79, which equates to roughly €19.12 or $22.07 US. As ever, the US and Euro prices are estimates taken from the UK pound, and they include VAT or tax at 20%, which may vary depending on which country you are when you purchase. The Simmarket price is about the same, there's not much difference. So as I've said, this is an update to their previous version 1, the release version. It's been out for a little while, but I've only now had the chance to review it and thought we might have a look at it, because this is a fairly popular airport. It's also pretty big, so we'll do our best to cover as much as we can for you. Okay, so let's look at the feature list. Okay, features. We have PBR textures, dynamic lighting, real ground markings, custom painstakingly handcrafted pavement showcasing all the imperfections including dirt, custom jetways, and you'll see those in the jetway test later in the video, custom animated objects, passengers and bus animations, custom taxiway signs, and they've adjusted the level of detail, or LOD, to increase the performance. So quite a bit to look at and to look out for here, but for the moment let's look at some history. So history: Albuquerque International Sunport, Kilo Alpha Bravo Quebec, is the primary international airport serving the Albuquerque metropolitan area in the American state of New Mexico, as well as the larger Albuquerque Santa Fe Cities complex. The airport's located in Bernalillo County in New Mexico between the Rio Grande River and the Sandia Mountains east of the Old Town Albuquerque, and Bartlas, 3 miles or 5 kilometers southeast of downtown Albuquerque. Nearby to the south lies the University of New Mexico, and directly to the west the Sandia National Laboratories and the Kirtland Air Force Base. The airport serves as a focus airport for Southwest Airlines and is also served with flights by Advanced Air, Alaska Airlines, American Airlines, Boutique Air, Delta Airlines, Frontier, JetBlue and United Airlines. Cargo airlines serving the airport include FedEx, Express, UPS Airlines, Empire Airlines as a FedEx feeder carrier, Ameriflight, Amazon Prime Air, which is operated by Silver Airways, and South Aero. The city of Albuquerque is also the center of the Air Route Traffic Control Center, or the ARTCC, and the airport is designated Class C airspace with additional military operations area classification due to the connection with the United States Air Force runways. Albuquerque was the first served by 2 private airports. The first Albuquerque Airport, later known as Oxnard Field, opened in 1928, and the second, West Mesa Airport, later known as the TWA Airport, opened in 1929. The first airlines to serve the airports were Transcontinental Air Transport, Western Air Express and Mid-Continent Air Express, all inaugurating service in 1929. At first the airlines operated from Albuquerque Airport, but within the first year had moved to the West Mesa Airport, where they stayed for most of the 1930s. TAT and WAE both merged in 1930 to form Transcontinental and Western Air, or TWA. Mid-Continent Air Express's service was replaced by Varney Speed Lines in 1934. 3 years later, Varney changed its name to Continental Airlines. In 1935, it was suggested that the city build a new public airport using Works Progress Administration money. Having secured $520,000 plus American dollars in funding, Governor Clyde Tingley broke ground for the project in February of 1937. Albuquerque Municipal Airport opened in 1939 with 2 paved runways, a Pueblo-style terminal building designed by Ernest Blumenthal, and a massive hangar designated to accommodate the new Boeing 307 Stratoliner, operated by TWA. TWA became Transworld Airlines in 1946. Some 2 years after the airport opened, Albuquerque Army Air Base was constructed to the east. This facility later became Kirkland Air Force Base and still shares the runways and other facilities with the commercial operations of the airport today. Monarch Airlines, no relation to the now defunct UK leisure carrier, came to Albuquerque in 1947, then merged with other carriers to become Frontier Airlines in 1950. TWA, the largest of the carriers serving the airport, introduced the first jet service in 1961 using the Boeing 707. In 1963, the airport was renamed Albuquerque Sunport. The present terminal was designed by William E. Burke Jr., an architect originally from Southern California, but later a resident of Santa Fe. The terminal was built just east of the original terminal and opened in 1965. At first, the terminal had 8 gates, 4 at the main building and another 4 at the small satellite building to the south, connected by a tunnel. None of the gates had jet bridges. The airport gained international status in 1971. The terminal has been expanded several times, first in 1973 when the west wing was added with a large gate and jet bridge able to handle the new wide-bodied aircraft. TWA used this gate to introduce the Lockheed L-1011 TriStar jetliner to Albuquerque in 1974, operating flights to Chicago. After airline deregulation was passed in 1978, a flood of new airlines came into the airport. The west wing was expanded in 1980 with 3 more gates, all of which had jet bridges and were used extensively by TWA and several new carriers. Southwest Airlines, which started service in April 1980, quickly grew to become the largest carrier serving the airport. The airline used the old gates 1 and 2 at the main terminal and installed 3 ground-level jet bridges at these 2 gates. Several fixed-based operators handling general aviation have operated at the Sunport over the years, the largest being Qatar Aviation, which traces its roots back to the original Albuquerque Airport in 1928. Qatar relocated to the current Sunport grounds in 1947, operating from a larger hangar on the southwest corner of the terminal ramp. An all-new general aviation facility was constructed on the south side of the main east-west runway during the mid-1980s, and the Qatar hangar was torn down for the terminal expansion between 1987 and 1989. A new United States Post Office facility and a new freight facility and air cargo ramp were opened in the 1990s. In 2001, a new off-site rental car facility was opened and all the rental car operations were moved out of the main terminal. The old terminal of 1939 has been restored and houses offices of the Transport Security Administration, or TSA. The old terminal was added to the National Register of Historic Places in 1988. The Airport Master Plan, drafted in 2002, lays out both intermediate and long-term projects at the airport, including the construction of a second terminal when traffic demands it. The runway 1735 closure and removal recommendation was based on safety, noise abatement and the cost of upkeep. Because runway 1735 intersected all 3 of the other runways, it ran the highest risk of runway incursions. The runway was closed in the summer of 2012 and the tarmac is used for taxiing aircraft and for firefighting training with a fire target aircraft located on the north end. The configuration of the 3 other runways in conjunction with typical wind patterns enabled them to handle departures and landings more efficiently. With the closure of runway 1735, approximately 75 acres of land just northeast of the terminal complex became available for redevelopment. The city of Albuquerque has initiated a project called Destination Sunport to promote the area as an emerging business hub, supporting collaboration among Albuquerque's research and development community and the global marketplace. Development of the business park began in December 2018, with 3 phases expected to be completed over 5 years. Well, there you are, folks, a potted history, quite an extensive history. Some of it's old news, but it's all relevant. I mean, this airport is huge. Lots of changes that the airport and other areas have underwent over the years as airlines come and go and facilities have closed and then be redeveloped. So that was a history. Let's look at the runway situation here now. Okay, runways. So as of 2022, Albuquerque Sunport operates 3 runways. The longest of the 3 runways, all made from concrete, is runway 0826, coming in at 13,793 feet or 4,204 meters. And we're looking down the throat of runway 0826 at the moment. Following close behind is runway 0321, measuring 10,000 feet or 3,048 meters. And lastly, runway 1230 comes in at 6,000 feet or 1,829 meters. The airport lies at a pretty high elevation of 5,355 feet or 1,632 meters and sits within the GMT UTC -7 hours time zone. Now, the state of New Mexico does indeed observe daylight saving time, and with the UK now back on GMT, Albuquerque remains 7 hours behind the UK. So we start with runway 08, we're looking down the throat of it now, which features high intensity runway lighting, centerline lighting, medium intensity approach lighting system with runway alignment indicator lights, touchdown zone lighting, and a visual approach slope indicators or VAIS, very similar to the PAPIs, on the left side. So we have the approach lighting system, which is here as it should be. You've got the center line, there's the touchdown zone lighting, there's the intensity lighting system, and you've got the VAIS here on the left. You can see it's a series of 3 sets of lights, slightly different to the way PAPIs operate, but there we go. So that looks pretty correct there. So approach options for runway 08, you have standard and high intensity landing system, instrument landing system. You have an RNAV, GPS and RNP approach option with Y and Z options. There's also a VOR approach option, and lastly a TACAN approach option, which is often used by the military. There's also unspecified, a Radar 1 ASR approach option as well. So let's check out the other end, runway 26. Okay, so here we are at the other end, runway 26, which also has the high intensity runway lighting system, runway end identifier lights, center lines and precision approach path indicators, this time on the left side. So we have everything except the runway end identifier lighting system, the 2 white flashing lights either side of the runway threshold back end here should be flashing. Those are the things that's missing. This extended concrete area is also on the chart, so that's correct. So everything there except the runway end identifier lights. Approach options, we have RNAV, RNP approach with Y and Z options. Okay, so let's look at runway 21. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 21, which features high intensity runway lighting, again runway end identifier lighting system, centerline lighting and precision approach path indicators on the left side. So once again the runway's all fine except we're missing the 2 white flashing lights either side of the runway end, which are known as runway end identifier lights. But other than that, it all looks pretty good. Approach options for runway 21, again you have the RNAV, RNP approach option with Y and Z options on the chart. So let's check out the other end, runway 03. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 03, which features high intensity runway lighting, centerline lighting, medium intensity approach lighting system with runway alignment indicator lights, touchdown zone lighting, and the precision approach path indicators on the left side. So here we've got everything correct. This concrete exposed area at the front is also on the chart, so that's correct. Here's the medium intensity approach lighting, touchdown zone, center line, and you've got the PAPIs on the left, so that's all correct there. Approach options for 03, you have the RNAV GRNP Z approach option, and also the unspecified approach option also applies to this runway as it does to 08, and that's the radar 1 ASR approach option. Okay, so let's look at runway 30 now. So here we are looking at runway 30, which features medium intensity runway lighting, runway end identifier lighting system, and precision approach path indicators on the left side. So all correct, except they've got a center line here which isn't listed, and also the once again the runway end identifier lights, the two white lights either side here, are also missing. So not worried about the center line, it's not on the chart, but then anything that's useful that helps you land on this runway should you need to, certainly during low lighting, I mean that's going to be a help. But the two white flashing lights are also missing. PAPIs on the left, again as per the chart. Okay, approach options here, well there are actually no instrument approach options specified, so I would imagine this is visual only during the, basically until the darkness hours. And finally, let's look at the other end, runway 12, runway 12. So here we are looking down the throat of runway 12, which features medium intensity runway lighting only. Obviously we've got the center line which extends the full length of the runway, which has been added or left in, so that's fine. But there are no other lights apart from the intensity, and again I'm not sure really in Flight Sim 2020 whether you can actually adjust the intensity to make it different from the intensity of the other runways. I'm not sure you can do that as a feature. But on the chart this is only medium intensity runway lighting and that's it. Once again, approach options, there are none specified for this runway at all. So this pretty much probably used by light aircraft or used during the day when necessary. Finally, all the runways here are fully grooved, which is a real help. So that was it for runways for you. As you can see, lots of landing options and takeoff options here, and also one massive runway getting close to 14,000 feet here, which you would need given the elevation or the high elevation of this airport. So let's look at jetways now. We'll do a jetway test. Okay folks, time for the jetway test. Here we are on stand Alpha 1. I've got the Phoenix Airbus A320 sitting here. And it's pretty much right on the mark, as you can see. I've spawned directly from the menu. Let's see whether we can get the jetway working. There she goes, the head turns around, jetway moves, and the wheels turn as well. And that looks to be a reasonable connection, although it looks as though it's gone through the skin. And again we have the usual thing where the stairs go into the concrete, but it looks pretty reasonable. Let's get up close. Okay, so the connection's good as you can see, but this looks to have gone really right through the skin. We'll have a look in a minute. You've got the airline here as well, and you can see the stairs have gone into the concrete slightly. Let's have a look from the other side. Okay, so there's the view from the other side, and it also looks like it might have penetrated the flight deck. But this is fairly up close, so it's actually gone right up close to the aircraft, which is pretty good. Here you can see we've marked pretty much on the spot as well. Let's have a look inside the jetway head, assuming we can get in there. Okay, firstly looking from this side, as you can see, this happens a lot in Flight Sim 2020 and a lot of sceneries, where you go inside and the actual hood itself on that side is missing. So we just got open air there. That's a graphic issue of some kind. This looks as though it's gone in slightly, but it's up close. I mean, it's reasonably okay. I'm not complaining about that. The doors are closed again, unfortunately, so if you're using GSX, passengers are going to walk through a solid door, which is a pity. There's the view from the other side, and as you can see, it would appear this has gone right in through the skin of the aircraft. Anyway, let's have a look out from the inside. So here we are looking out from the inside. We're in the forward galley and looking back as far as I can, and you can see the hood. This is actually probably one of the worst penetrations I've seen, but the whole top and side of the hood here has gone in through the top of the aircraft and the side of the cabin. There's another view of it, as you can see, but that's quite a serious penetration of the aircraft. But yeah, there we go, at least it works. And again, here we are on the flight deck. As you can see, it's gone right through. Yeah, you know, it's just at the moment this one takes the cake for the worst hood penetration I've seen in any scenery. But then the other stands may be different, I don't know. I just picked a stand at random. But at least the aircraft spawns directly onto the stand in the right place and the jetway connects. So I can't really complain. But there we go. It's not the best jetway connection, but at least it does reach the aircraft. Okay, so there we go. Let's disconnect the jetway now. Once again, the hood springs back, door of the aircraft closes. A slight delay, the head turns round. And there we go. So no real problems with that. Okay folks, so there you go. That was the jetway connection. Nothing really to write home about, but at least the jetway connects. The building and the jetways are all nicely weathered, so they look pretty real as per the images I've seen online. So let's get down to the airport proper. Let's start a tour of this huge airport, to be honest. Let's have a real good look round and see what it looks like. Okay, welcome back. So for the main tour then, we're going to start at the very western end. Just to the right here you can see the runway 12, the runway 08 threshold. This is runway 12 going down here. And we're looking east. So we're going to have a look at the main terminal and apron area first, and this is it here. And I've chosen to move the time on a little bit. It's now mid-afternoon, just after 3 PM. Here you can see the animated fire trucks. In the features we mentioned certain animated vehicles, and you can see by this here that we're actually at the edge of the default scenery. So this is where the actual Albuquerque scenery starts. So let's tour west first of all and have a look. As you can see, you've got various fire trucks, defaults. There's the fence line. The trees and the default sort of shrubbery that's been done here look pretty good. You've got various buildings. As I said, we'll look at AIRSIDE first. Slow this down a little bit. There you can see some more vehicle animations. I was unable to find any specific GSX profile for this scenery, so maybe it'll come at some point. So here we are as the main terminal complex. On the south side, the Alpha and Bravo stands. There's my aircraft parked on Alpha 1. And it looks pretty good. The ground markings are good. You can clearly see the dirt that was mentioned there. Really not bad at all. So we carry on further west. We'll have a look at the control tower and this area here. And this is the fire apron apparently, according to the chart. I mean, this all looks pretty nice, to be honest. So as you can see, the tower looks pretty good from the outside. The ground markings down there look pretty good. They're a slightly higher resolution than you might expect, which makes it all rather better. Let's see if there's anything inside the tower. And as you can see, the tower hasn't been modelled. which is a pity, but there we go. But there's an overview outside the tower, and you can see here the way the buildings have been done, and the ground here is a slightly, it's not, I mean it's photo scenery, but it's slightly better resolution than you'd normally expect. Even this looks a lot better than you might see in some other sceneries, and they've had the appropriate vehicles dotted around here and there, and the PBR texturing on the buildings really help as well. So we continue west, and we're coming up to what would be the military apron Echo. And again, I really like the ground markings. They've gone to town on the ground a lot more than I thought they might, to be honest. So here we've got some military models, helicopters, ornithopters, various military bits and pieces as you might expect. Buildings look good as well, textured and properly modelled. And here you've got what I think is your Black Hawk helicopter, just a close-up look, and again the model is really nice, it's very well done. I'll look from another angle. And once again a look at another helicopter model. I think this is an ornithopter, or I can't remember what the name of it is, but again a really nice model, well detailed, not slapdash at all, quite impressive. And we continue further west. You've got runway 26 on the right, and we're coming up to what would be the National Guard area at the far end there. A couple of fuel tanks, various cars dotted about. Again, they've done some work here, right on the outskirts of the airport. It's not been left to chance. Now this is the Air National Guard area. And some pretty straightforward modelling. Okay, so let's head westbound now. We go back towards the landside part of these structures. And you know, it all looks pretty good, doesn't it? Foliage looks good, it matches, the whole thing blends in pretty well. If you look far enough there on the right hand side, sometimes it's hard to see which is default and which is part of the scenery. That's a good example of how things should blend in. And it's not bad at all. It's looking pretty good. The texturing really helps. Okay, you've got various photo type vehicles as well, which are not difficult to miss, unfortunately. But all in all, you know, it looks quite nice. It looks pretty impressive for Flight Sim 2020. So we go landside of the tower area now. Again, the building structures look good, and the slightly higher ground resolution really has an effect. It makes it look a lot better. So we pass over the landside car park here. Just steer it down a little bit. Okay, the car park's a bit low resolution, but I think we can get away with that. So here you can see they have lots of use of solar panels. Now here's landside of the terminal. Which looks nice. Just trying to slow it down a little bit so you can see. I mean, it looks fine. It really does. They've done a nice job, and what they appear to have done is parallax the windows so it looks as though there's anything going on landside there. The pity is that the road is devoid of taxis or people. I get the feeling that they've probably got animated people only in a certain area. We'll have a closer look at AIRSIDE in a moment. So you've got the landside highway there, and the hotel. I can't remember what the name of the hotel is. So you've got road signs which are nicely done as well. So there it is, it's the Sheraton Hotel, pretty reasonable representation of it. We've got the swimming pool down there. The trees aren't too bad, they overlap in the roads here a bit. But here we're on the very edge of the default scenery. But you get this lovely view, you've got the mountains in the distance. I mean, this whole airport is surrounded by absolutely wonderful mountainous area. And remember, it's over 5,000 feet up, elevation's over 5,000 feet. So we just pass back to AIRSIDE again. And you've got the United States Post Office area here somewhere. Sunport warehouse down there. It is a little bit sort of devoid here, it's a little bit sort of quiet. While we're here, let's have a look at some of the taxiway signage. I mean, the ground markings look great, concrete looks good. Here you've got runway 26, you've got the entrance, blue airfield edge lights there as well. And the taxiway signage is pretty good there. It sits in the grass, it's elevated, it's really clear. It's shiny as well, the sun's reflecting off it, which is good. And there to the left, one of the blue airfield edge lights. Okay, as usual, here's the view from inside the cockpit. When you park up on Alpha 1, this is what you will see. View from the captain's side. And looking outside the first officer's window. Okay, so let's take a close look at the stand from outside the aircraft. So we've already seen that the jetway works pretty well. And if you look to the left, we can see a development here. The airside lounges, it would appear, have been developed. You've got people in there. So they've chosen not to do much in the way of anything landside, but airside looks like it might be worth a look, and we'll have a look in a minute. Let's connect this jetway while we're here. So there you are, the jetway connects. It's gone through the skin as we've seen in the test, and various little anomalies, but it looks pretty good. So in the meantime, let's go into the terminal airside and see what we can see. We'll start on the lower level first. So here we are, and it looks pretty good. Animated and static passengers, interior looks good. And there we are looking out into the ramp area through the glass. And as you can see, interior modelling looks perfectly acceptable. You've got the statue there, the shops are parallaxed, reasonable resolution, makes it certainly looks okay from this distance. And they're looking in the other direction, all the gates, and here you can see the parallaxing. The photographs are not really high enough resolution to make them work as well as they could, but it's a reasonable attempt. So let's just take a slow tour. I mean, you know, this has been nicely done. I really can't complain very much. It's just that this is just the way they wanted to do it, and that's fine. It looks good. Interior looks more than acceptable. So here we are looking at the departures board. As you know, I like to. We're up close and it's still easy to see. Okay, it's slightly blurred, but you know what, this is pretty good considering how close we are. No problems with this at all. It looks great. And just another shot of one of the gates. And as you can see, the whole thing goes all the way down the pier. And nice to see some nice animations. Okay, so that was the lower level. Let's look at the upper level here in AIRSIDE. Going again through Alpha 1 gate. And once again, quite a nice setting here, and more animations. A couple of repetitive ones, but no complaints really. So there you've got some nice furniture, you've got a lovely view out through the misted glass, which is just as it should be, considering this area gets a hell of a lot of sun. And there's a shot in the other direction. And there's just a shot looking down from the upper level to the lower level we just visited. So just thought I'd check airside at the very western end of the pier to see exactly how far they'd gone with the passengers and people. And as you can see, the interior modelling of the terminal extends all the way along to the western end of the terminal. There's the very western end. And there you can see the corridor leading back past Alpha 1 where we had our aircraft. So now let's head south and have a look at the general aviation and freight area. This is adjacent runway 2103. So Qatar Aviation, a well-known name in American airports. And again, detail's quite nice. Done quite a nice little job here. As we continue southwest. And it looks fine. I mean, it's a bit ghost townish, I suppose you might expect it. There's a lot more that could be added to liven this airport up. Be interesting to see though how it looks at the dusk time, which is coming up shortly. Here's the cargo apron, which goes all the way down to the south. There's FedEx, UPS next door. And it looks fine, you know, no complaints, it looks great. So let's just check it out landside, or the other side there, heading back northeast. There you can see various FedEx trucks sitting around. It's a nice job. The design is good. The buildings are properly identified and textured. And there you can see some trucks. We'll continue looking landside here. You've got some, it's part of the fuel farm. And once again, more of the, this is Atlantic Aviation down there, and this is the back end of Qatar's. It's great, it really is good. No complaints at all, looks very nice. Okay, so that was a look during the daytime. Let's bring it down to dusk now and see what this airport looks like when the darkness comes along. Okay, 5 PM local time in the evening. It's November the 12th is the date of this video. And here we are looking at the main terminal structure. Lighting came on about 4 minutes ago. And yeah, it looks nice. You got the sunset there in the background with the mountains. The terminal looks really good. Very subtle lighting, plenty of ramp lighting too. There we are looking east. You've got runway 0826 just down below us there. And you've got the fire apron, the base operations there. Apron C, the far northeast part there up in the distance, and the control tower structure. Beautiful mountains lit in the background. And there we are looking southwest. You've got Qatar's Aviation, the GA terminal, and the cargo apron all properly lit for you. Very nice indeed. So just a slow tour across the ramp here on the southern part, the Bravo and Alpha stands. Just having a look at the lighting. All the light comes from the correct source. And it's nice to be able to see in through the windows there, and you can see the animated passengers and the goings on. It's fine, it looks good. Really no complaints at all, looks very nice. Flying in here at dusk is going to be very nice for you. I mean, it's just a beautiful view. This airport sits in a really lovely location with the mountains in the background. So we have a look at the apron at the back. And once again the same level of detail. And again you can see in through the glass to the inside of the terminal. So some areas here you can see taxiways that are not they don't have any centerline lighting or blue air-filled edge lights, so you're going to need your nose gear to taxi around. So the tower looks nice, lighting's good, and certainly the glass looks great, and you have the mandatory red lights on top of the tower. It's just a pity it's not been done inside, really. And various buildings all subtly lit. That's very nice. You've got the odd Asobo globe floating around, which is a pity, but there we go. But as you can see, the lighting looks good. Certainly even on the off-airport buildings to the left there, there's a certain amount of parallaxing. Here's apron C, is the very northeast apron, or the northeast part of the airport. Barriers, hangars. I think there's, is that open? No, it's closed. But there's enough here to keep you occupied. It's really nice. It's great, it really is. I'll go right through the brilliant. Now here's the military area. Again, we've got plenty of lighting here, so you guys who fly in on helicopters or anything else, you're well catered for here. And as you can see there, we've even got green centerline lights and the blue airfield edge lights. Plenty of taxiway signage, so getting on and off the airport here is not going to be a problem, really. Just a quick close-up look at the taxiway signage at dusk. As you can see, the lighting's great on the sign and on the edge lights, and the centerline lights are well enhanced. Very, very nice. So a couple of quick close-up shots around the stand. There you can see into the terminal. That's a really nice effect, actually. It's probably one of the nicest, certainly in Flight Sim 2020. Sometimes they don't quite get this right. They get it close, but this is a really nice view. It looks pretty realistic. It's about as realistic as I've seen, and this often defeats many of the other payware sceneries. That's a very nice little image there. I just go a bit closer, I mean, you can see, I mean, you know, it might as well be real. It looks really good. That's a close-up of the stand. Various freight boxes and bits and pieces around, all looking pretty good. Even the fire extinguisher there in the distance. So a quick look inside the upper level. As you can see, it's all nicely lit, and surprisingly enough, it's not too bright. I immediately thought that in order to achieve the view from the outside they would have overdone the light, but actually it's pretty good. It's not as brash as I thought it might be. And there's a nice shot looking out at the aircraft on the ramp from within the airside lounge. It's really not bad at all. So that was dusk, and as you can see, the night time is rapidly approaching. So let's turn it down to night time and see what happens to the lighting. Okay, 10 PM local time in the evening. As you can see, the lighting hasn't changed much, which is good. Sometimes the lighting comes up way too much, or it doesn't come up enough. And here I think it's just right. Taxiing around here, finding your way onto the ramp really isn't going to be a problem. And looking east, there's runway 0826, and here you can see centerline lights, taxiway lights, blue airshield edge lights. All the signs are lit as well. Taxiing around isn't really going to be a problem. There's a control tower complex, and the Air National Guard area is in the far distance there to the east. And there, as we look southwest, you've got the GA apron cutters and the cargo terminal down to the south. And finally, a quick look inside the flight deck at night time. Not much difference from the dusk area, but again, this is the view you'll get when you park home in the darkness hours. View from the captain's side. and looking across the first officer's window. So a quick look heading east across the airside ramp. As you can see, the landside Sheraton Hotel is quite nicely lit. There you can see green centerline lights leading right into the ramp area, which is going to be a big help. And all in all, the lighting looks great. No real complaints at all. You are well taken care of here. So we come to the north side of the airport, of the terminal. It looks fine, really does. So let's have a little look landside. I mean, it's nice. It you know, it looks good. It's just a pity that really hasn't been done. Much hasn't been done to it. There's a couple of bushes there in the wrong places. But you know, no cars, no taxis, no people. A couple of people and the odd car or coach here would have been really nice, especially since they've chosen to model this. But it looks good. So we go back the other way on the lower level, and once again, nice modelling, no real complaints at all. Just unfortunately no vehicles, people or anything to liven this up at all. Particularly at the moment, I mean, the lighting looks lovely. Just love these turquoise effects up on the right there. But a couple of people and a couple of taxis would have been fine. And to clean up these bushes in the wrong place. But other than that, you know, it's great. It's lovely. It's a nice scenery. You go around the corner, you've got the car park on the left. So quick look at the hotel. There you can see parallaxing. Very nice. So just an overview here. We're looking at the very edge of the scenery. Here you can see evidence of the very edge of the default scenery area. But we're looking back across the terminal area, and it looks great. It really is nice. Okay, so that was night time. Hopefully I'm in the right position now. Let's bring the dawn up here and have a look. Okay, it's 10 to 7 in the morning. I've got the sun behind me here. You can see the wonderful red glow on the buildings. I mean, it really does look good at these New Mexico airports and Arizona airports, because they colour the buildings in order to take advantage of the wonderful sunrises and sunsets. That looks good. There you've got an animated vehicle, and it looks really nice. There's the hotel as well. It's a lovely time of day. And looking at the terminal from another vantage point. And there's the control tower and the Apron C complex, beautiful mountains behind it. And there you've got the GA area and the freight area down to the southwest. And finally we're looking towards the east, and you've got runway 26 threshold in the far distance up there. And the Air National Guard area up here. Okay, it's an hour later, 10 to 8 in the morning, time to wrap up this review and give you my thoughts. Okay, there are at least 2 other Albuquerque sceneries out there. I believe one's payware by another developer, and there's a freeware one as well. So this part of the world is well served. Question is whether we like this payware one better than the others. I mean, to some extent I'll leave that decision to you. Looking at this scenery though, you know, the price is excellent. It was on sale. Unfortunately, by the time I've come back to it, it's now no longer on sale, but that may change, so we're back to the normal price. It's available from Inibuilds and Simmarket, and there's not a lot of difference in the price really, a couple of cents. I think it's a lovely scenery. It's been nicely done. They've textured pretty much everything, which makes a big difference. The ground textures as well, the photo scenery is of a slightly higher resolution, which does improve the overall outlook at the way it looks. Runways and taxiways are well done, well textured. You're going to find your way around here pretty easily during the night time. And the location of this airport is great. And the scenery, I believe, does it justice. It's quite nice. What about the price? Okay, it's €19.12, well, basically it's £16.79 UK, which equates to roughly $19.12, or just over €19.12, just over $22. I think it's about a fair price for a 2020 scenery with this amount of detail. I really do like the way they've done the passengers' airside lounges, particularly there when we had a close-up look. That's probably one of the best viewpoints and vantage points I've seen in a 2020 scenery. It just looks good. A little disappointed that the control tower hasn't been done inside, and also that they've developed the landside part of the terminal. It looks beautiful, especially at night or at dusk, but we've got no taxis, no people standing outside. Would have been nice if they could have added a few people just to make it look a little bit more lively. That said, the animations where they are fine. It's great. You know, it's a nice airport. It's been well done. It fits into the terrain very well, to be honest. There are areas where you can't see where the default scenery starts and this product ends, although there are other areas where that is pretty obvious, but it looks good. I think you're well catered for. The military area is a bonus. You've done a nice job there. So you guys that like to fly in something different are well catered for as well. But I really like it. Thumbs up from me. And the price is probably about right. And remember, those prices include tax. So there you are, folks. It's Albuquerque International Airport, or Albuquerque Sunport as it's known. Kilo Alpha Bravo Quebec. This is the newish payware scenery from Dominic Designs, or the Dominic Design team. It's updated, the latest version 1.1 for the PC version of Flight Sim 2020, and it also works in Flight Sim 2024. Download comes at 325 meg, and it installs at just over a gig. It's available from both Inibuilds and Simmarket. Inibuilds price, as I said, there's not an awful lot of difference between the two. £16.79 at the moment, which equates to roughly €19.12, or $22.07. The euro and the US prices are estimates taken from the UK pound, and they include tax and VAT at 20%, which of course could vary depending on which country you're in when you make your purchase. It's nice, a feature-rich scenery that looks good. You won't be disappointed. I think it does probably just about edge the other sceneries, not by much. There's another payware developer that's done a nice job on this scenery, and also who I believe is working on an update too. But if you like this kind of thing, then I think this is excellent. I thought no hesitation in recommending it. So there you are, folks. Thank you for joining me. Thanks for watching. My name's Lee. Once again, my apologies to you guys who have been patiently waiting for my reviews to come out. I've had a lot of issues here at home. I'm still under medical investigations for some bits and pieces I wasn't sure about. That looks like it might be okay, but I'm determined to get back to producing 2 videos a week at least. And now my website is updated. I can edit it and put the news things in. So yeah, go ahead to the website. I do usually update that every Sunday with news of what's coming in terms of next week's, following week's reviews, and also you'll get a news page there as well where I look at what's been happening around the Flight Sim world and put up some news items for you too. So there you go. Thank you for watching. Thanks for joining me. If you feel like supporting my efforts, please go ahead and buy me a coffee. Links in the description below. I buy about 40% of these sceneries. The rest are very kindly donated to me to review. I don't monetize my channel for some reason. That's not possible. So the only way that I can help, you can help me with the cost of the sceneries for review, is by buying me a coffee. That really helps, and I say thank you to those people who've done it so far. You've been a huge help. And yeah, if there's something you really want reviewed, yeah, buy me a coffee, just a couple of quid, and I'll put it on the list and we'll have a look at it. So once again, thanks for joining me, and I'm going to try and update the website today, Wednesday, and I'll do it again on Sunday, and we'll have 2 more reviews for you next week. So take care folks, safe flying, and blue skies. I'll see you in the next video. Bye for now.